Hello and welcome to my channel. I haven't been on in a while, haven't had any new content put out for a bit, but I am recording a lot of video, and I'm going to be putting some stuff out, like discussions about target panic, because everyone and their uncle is talking about target panic for all of a sudden. Maybe it's just my feed. Products that are out, updates on various things that I've been examining over the last couple of weeks, so expect a good amount of additional content out of this channel, along with a video that I've been promising for a very long time, which is a comparison of 5 different sites that are available on the market. And in light of Ultraview releasing their Slider 2 as of today, it's going to change some of what I end up talking about when I talk about the Ultraview Slider. So in light of that, I have to say I have no intention of buying the new Ultraview Slider because, one, I don't necessarily want to support Ultraview and their tendency to manufacture things overseas instead of here, but the other thing is I don't think there's enough different about it that warrants buying a whole nother site, particularly for the price that they're offering. So I figured instead what do we do is go on a little adventure onto their website so I can take a look at what the new one is offering as compared to what the old one, or the feature set of the old one versus the feature set of the new one, along with the accessories and a few other things. So I'm going to pop on my screen on screen or record screen thing on my computer, and then so now we're recording our string. We are on the Ultraview website. Let's take a look. This promo video, I watched the promo video. Don't bother watching the promo video because they just talk about how much they like hunters, and that's about it. They don't really showcase the actual product that they're trying to advertise all that much, or the features thereof, so you can feel free to skip over their little promo video until they actually have something of note. So here is the Ultraview Slider. So now we have, it's going to be available in a right-handed and a left-handed version. They're going to have a direct mount now, so you've got 2 in and out positions and then a quiver bracket position, quiver attachment point, so quiver bracket. They still have the 3rd axis adjustment. Now it's got 3 positions, or now it's got 3 tongs in order to, I guess, squeeze it down and tighten it down a little more. Looks like it's available in a left-handed version and not the right-handed version flipped over. They don't give you an option to move to another. Oh, there we go. They don't really give you an option to move and rotate around like the dialed sight. But before I get into that, oops, I don't want to watch that. So direct mount, Picatinny mount, and bridge lock. Now the bridge lock mount, so here's what they did with the first one. The first UV slider, they had to design the mounting brackets for the bow with an offset in mind, because the dovetail, basically the sight was designed so that you would have enough windage range regardless of which spot you had it installed. So whether you had it on the bridge lock or the pick mount, because the pick mount's going to move the sight body in front of the riser, that's going to adjust the amount of windage adjustment you're going to have, and you can potentially run out of windage. So the bridge lock mount and the pick mount both had an offset in it to basically put it in the same spot that it would have been if you had just bolted it to the side of the riser. So like the Matthews version, it looks like they slimmed it down so that it's made to fit or sit in front, unless this big ass block here moves it over a little bit and offsets it from the bridge lock or the Picatinny location. Now you have a choice. You can actually choose your pin configuration in here, so you get a vertical 1 pin, vertical 3 pin, horizontal 3 pin, or horizontal 5 pin. So now it's not like you have to buy this cartridge whether you're going to use it or not, which is what I ended up doing. I bought the 2-pin Ranger. No, that's True Ball. The 2-pin hunting cartridge with 15,000th pins. It does not look like you get to choose your pin thickness. So you still got the dual dial system with a little flapper here. You have a home stop Adjustable post lets you roll your sight back to home without needing to look at your tape. That is something we asked for last time. I don't know where it's attached though. Where is it mounted? I don't see anything on that side. That's also that side. You get to see the different mounts that are available. So there's the back end. So it looks like, let's see, side here. Alright, so there are threaded holes here for the indicator pins or indicator markers, and there's your dead stop right there. I suck with computers. So anyway, yeah, there's a dead stop right there that you can move up and down. So that's something we asked for with the first UV slider, and they decided to keep it out even though people were actually asking for it. So yeah, you have a dead stop at the top that you can adjust. It's good that it's adjustable. Quick break, that's your easy detach at the bottom of the scope that we had before. Triple mark, calibrate each indicator to be dead on with your 3-pin cartridge. It looks like those pins, there's 4 and then another one down here, so it looks like those pins have more adjustment on them than they did before, because normally it's the center pin was not adjustable, and that matched the center pin on the 3-pin sight, and then the top and the bottom were the ones adjusted on the original slider. Sight tapes. Full set of premium vinyl tapes 1 through 40. Laminated tapes are no stretch, use waterproof adhesive, and have been optimized contrast printing for low light conditions. So I guess they updated the material they were using they were making their stick-on sight tapes with. Dual tape. So the UV slider had tape mounting positions on the right side and left side before. So you had this tape, and they still only have one pin, or one indicator pin on the outside. So if you wanted to run your sight tape on the outside, you can, but you only have one pin instead of having 3. Looking at the back here, now when I talked to somebody at TAC, the guy at TAC, he said that the updated slider was not, there was a chance that it was not going to be anything like the Matthews version. So like I was alluding to before, when you look at the picture here, the dovetail mounting bracket is in line with the back of the sight body. So they adjusted this new one so that it is designed to sit in front of the riser like the Matthews bridge lock or the Picatinny mount. Which is fine, assuming that if you get the dovetail and mount it on the outside. See, they did what Dial did. They actually have an inset on the dovetail bar. So now this looks like the side mount here. So when you mount this to the side, this is going to move the side of the body of the sight to the front of the riser. So that way, despite there only being no different versions of this, you shouldn't have windage issues regardless of which version you choose. So, but an interesting thing is when you look at this, I can't help but notice there are a lot fewer drilled holes in the back of this sight rail. And that is very similar to the Matthews version of the UV slider, and that could present a problem for some people if you have issues if you need to move it up and down. The whole point of a target sight with a long target bar with a lot of elevation range is so that you can move it and then not run out of space. And from the looks of this, you have 2 mounting locations for the metal sight tape plate, and then it looks like 2 positions for the mounting bracket on the back. So it's not like the Accel Achieve where you have threaded holes all the way down this rail here or up top so you can move this up or down. You're going to be kind of limited to how much adjustment you have on this sight. So they are taking a bit of a risk with that. Now moving along, the direct mount, like I said, it's got 2 in and out positions and then a threaded spot for a quiver bracket. Here are a set of, looks like a set of engraved metal sight tape plates. This one is for scaling and figuring out what your sight tape needs to be. And on the other side, they still look to have the stick-on tapes. They said that they improved on the material they're made of. They made them waterproof, and there's 40 of them. But something interesting, well, let's take a look at the pictures first. So there's the new cartridge, or there's the new scope, and the scope cartridge. So you get those options. There is no option for a 2-pin. There's a single, a 3, and then a horizontal 3 and a horizontal 5. So just go back here, make sure I didn't miss anything. So the new slider cartridge, does it come with a light cartridge? Oh no. They made the light cartridge sold separately. So you have to buy the light cartridge separately. It actually does not come with the light cartridge for the scope. How about that? Did I mention I'm not buying this? Because that automatically brings the price from $4.99 to $5.98 for this sight. Let's see what it comes with. UV slider, booklet with right-handed and left-handed sight tapes, travel case, no light visible or no light visoring, UV slider 2 metal setup tapes, 2 tape plates, and a hardware kit. Return policy. Returns are accepted within 14 days. No questions asked for items purchased directly from Ultraview. See how we make returns simple. Free orders, $149, hassle-free shipping, lifetime warranty guaranteed. It'd be interesting to look at that. So we got more here. Okay, so that's interesting. So your $499 UV Slider 2 does not come with a rechargeable light kit like the first one did. The first one had the scope with the light kit, but it's not USB-C rechargeable. You had to use I think it's 2032 disc batteries. I haven't changed it because I haven't really used the light. So the sight doesn't come with the light. That's super. So their price point for this, to make it cheaper, they just did the nickel and dime thing and making you buy the stuff, buy extra accessories that you don't necessarily need to be able to use it. Yeah, the quick break is still at the bottom. So this is very similar to the Matthews version of this, with the limited space, the limited vertical adjustment space, the dead stop, which is probably right here. It's that little block right there. And then the new scope with the new cartridges. Let's see here. For as far as accessories go, that hasn't changed any. So Slider 2 accessories. Now here's where I get amused. Okay, so accessory-wise, the cartridges are $150. That's crazy. You got your no light vis rings in different colors. And then that's the ring that goes, I think, inside the cartridge. You got your sight tapes. Metal sight tapes now. Engraved metal sight tapes. That's cool. And then you get a range that you can order. Laser engraved aluminum tapes. Ooh, that is a kick in the balls. Not compatible with first generation UV Slider. So these tapes don't fit on the new or on the old UV Slider. Of course they didn't. Did we actually expect them not to give those of us who bought the first one any breaks? So when you order one set of these metal tapes, you get 5 of them. So you probably get one that has like a blank tape so that you can use your stick-on tapes, and then 5 choices of the ones that are metal. This is future me, or editor me, coming back in to check and see. When I said 5 tapes, I don't know if that means it's when you order 5 of those metal tapes, you get 5 actual tapes. I don't know if they actually have a scale, a sight scale on both sides. So if they're one-sided, you only get 5 actual tapes, and if they're two-sided, you get 10. I kind of hope they're two-sided, because that would be cheap as fuck to just engrave one side, but back to the video. So yeah, the shortest tapes go out to 140 yards, and the longest tapes go out to, that's 95, 96, 97, 98 to 99 yards. No, that one only goes out, the shortest tape, or longest tape for the slowest bow goes out to 96 yards. And like I said, not compatible with first generation UV slider, and a set of 5 tapes is $24.99. So that's annoying. There are 2 reviews on this already, pointing out that wish you could select which ones you wanted, EX 5 to 10, I'd have to buy 2 sets. And then Tim McChesney gave it a 1 star, saying would be nice if they were compatible with the original UV slider. Yes, Tim, it really would be. Let's look at the scope. Go back to the accessories again. Okay. So now in the accessories there is a windage spacer, which means if you run out of windage because of the position that they put the sight, they give you something you can buy in order to add a 1/4 inch of windage adjustment away from the riser when installed in between the scope and sight of the UV2 slider. So they got that, except you have to buy it. It costs $5, which isn't too bad. I'd buy, if you're going to order one, I would buy that just in case, because it's only $5. Now the new cartridges, wow, that UV3 XL SE is 200. That's the old version. How about the new one? Where's the new one? 2-pin cartridges. Does it fit in the old style? Do the new cartridges fit in the old style? Your choices for 2-pin. I keep saying 2-pin. It's UV Slider 2 pin cartridges. It's not the 2-pin. They don't have a 2-pin cartridge. Let's take a look. Features and specs. Available in 4 unique... Everything is 15 pins. That's interesting. 5-pin horizontal cartridge includes 1 green indicator. 3-pin cartridge is 2 green and 1 red. I guess they're including... I guess they're deciding how many indicators you show up with. The first UV slider just came with 3 indicators on one side and 1 on the other. No customer reviews yet. It doesn't look like you can buy the scope separately. Oh. See, these are all the old style. Yeah, see, that's all the old style. Old light cartridge. It doesn't look like the scopes are... This new version of the scope is available for purchase, and I'm not sure if... Because it doesn't say if the 2-pin cartridges fit. Or do we have pictures? There's no way that fits in one of the old ones. Alright, I'm not entirely sure if you can put the new cartridges into the old scope. I'm going to guess probably not. Let's look at the light. UV Slider light cartridge is USB rechargeable and boasts 5 brightness settings. The compact design cuts down on weight and creates a perfect fit with the UV Slider 2. Features and specs. 70 hours of runtime on the dimmest, 13 hours on setting 3, 6 hours on runtime on setting 5, and 15-minute auto-off timer, so that's a plus. They're not saying, well, that has to fit on the new cartridge. Or the new scope, rather. We got any more features and specs? Let's see. Oh, here we go. So micro windage adjustment. hot swappable cartridges. Oh, look, and they're comparing the proof and the Excel driver. Micro adjust first axis, micro adjust third axis. So they're not. Yeah, the third axis on the proof isn't micro adjustable. Travel case, who gives a fuck? So from the look on the website, it doesn't look like this is compatible, or it doesn't say that it is compatible, or the newer cartridges are compatible with the old scopes. I'm gonna guess they're not. Of course, I could be wrong. So like I said, what I'm seeing here is they still didn't give you an adjustable first and second axis, independently adjustable first and second axis, and then the micro adjust third axis is still back here. And then you have a lot of stuff, or these have to be the mounting screws for these indicator pins here. So you've got a big rail with a lot of adjustment there. So these are probably independently adjustable all the way up and down of each other, and that's probably not fixed. The red one in the center probably isn't fixed. There's a dead stop there. The lock, the rail itself, it's pretty much what they're... I think I can come off of this now. So pretty much what they're offering is the Matthews UV slider as a slider 2, but with mounting attachments available for everybody. So you got the direct mount, you got the Picatinny mount, and the bridge lock dovetail. However, from the looks of it, there's no separate bracket for the... Oh, that's interesting. So that's something I just realized. So the only option for a dovetail, if you wanted a dovetail, is the bridge lock version, and there's no side mount, or there's no side dovetail mount for the bridge lock. If you want the 2, you have to use a direct mount if you want to mount it to the side of your bow. So if you don't have a pick rail, or you don't care to use the pick rail, and you want to be able to just bolt it to the side like we've been doing for decades, then you're stuck with the direct mount. So I hope I've answered some of the questions anybody was asking about this thing. Do I think it's worth the upgrade? Abso-fucking-lutely not. And I don't like that they decided to start to incorporate metal sight tapes. They're incorporating a lot of stuff that they should have originally incorporated with the first one, but they held on to it because they wanted to make sure they had stuff so that you could spend money all over again for the second one. So this is it's still a more compact design. There are some refinements to it. I would hope that this little flapper here is stiffer than it was before. There's some adjustment on it. I also hope that this dial here works better than the first one, because mine doesn't have a detent, or the detent that's supposed to click it in and out for the windage adjustment. It doesn't work. It just opens kind of limply, and then if I end up pushing it, or pushing on an angle slightly, it'll relock itself. So I'm hoping for more defined clicks if they do. Like I said, I'm not buying this, but I'm hoping that I hope they fix this, because they did on the Matthews one. The dual dial grip here looks different too. It looks like it's flatter on the top, which means that any accessories that you probably have for the original slider are not going to fit on this one, as we've already shown with these metal tapes. So you're getting a sight where you have to buy some stuff piecemeal. The light doesn't come with it anymore. You have to buy that. You don't have as much vertical adjustment range as you would for the first one, or for the original. You still have some of the features. It's a sleeker design, so it's more compact this way, which really doesn't matter. It's designed to sit in front of the riser instead of off to the side, so they're embracing the center line tech of the bridge lock and the pick mount. So, like I said, do I think it's worth it? No, I don't think this is worth purchasing unless you really want that rechargeable sight light, and I don't use one, so, or I try not to use sight lights. I try to get ones with pins that I can actually see. Still a big bubble level here, and then you can change and accessorize some stuff. You still only get one color, which is black, which is fine. But like I said, I don't, if you already have a UV slider, you might as well buy the ones that they're clearancing, because I really don't think it's worth upgrading. You've got the inset mount, which ensures that the windage range, but then you have the accessory to add windage to it if you run out of it on the outside. That looks to be a very short windage bar too. So you're going to have to make sure that your bow is tuned to avoid running out of windage. You know, if your center shot is too far outside, or if you paper tune it and it's too far outside of your riser, then you might run out of windage with this sight. There's a possibility. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point, so I hope I've provided some information. Like I said, I will not be buying this thing because I don't think it's worth it. I think they're actually offering you less for more with this, because like I said, you don't get you know, the base price is $4.99, but then you don't get the metal sight tapes. You get one metal sight tape, which is the one that, it's the scale that determines which tape you're supposed to use. You don't get the engraved ones. At least Accel gave you a couple. You don't get the metal tapes. You don't get the sight light. You do get to customize the pin cartridge configuration, so at least that's something. And it looks like none of your accessories that worked on the UV slider, the extra stuff you may have had lying around, is going to fit on this one. So take that information as you will. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Take care, stay safe, and happy hunting.